Content formats is a pretty quick one. I'm going to run through this really fast, but the whole concept of this idea is that anything can be turned into many different types of formats. Imagine if Avatar the movie was just a book and it was super long form book written format. You could, by that standard, also create an audiobook or even a, I don't know, Avatar podcast, which would be audio only, but very long. You could do a comic book. You could do a very long one, an epic novel content version of comic books, or you could do lots of individual comic books. You could do a presentation. You could do basically a very quick highlight reel of the entire plot. Now, would people be interested in seeing that? Would that be something that people would be willing to get into? I would say probably not. You never know. There's epic trailer versions of taking the entire concept of the movie and making a very short version of that. You could, of course, watch the entire movie, and that's the long form. Imagine content is everything, and everything can be reformatted in many different ways. We have to consider that theology or that way of looking at content and its formats as how we should go about creating our own. We can create via writing. We can create via making visual representations of things. We can do video, we can do presentations, and there's this whole category of other, which is either interactive or something that is high value that people can take with them. You should be looking at content this way in terms of, is there a particular type of content production that I really enjoy making? Or can I take things that exist in written format and repurpose them in an interesting way in order to make a visual representation or a video representation or a presentation or quiz or course or downloadable or spreadsheet, whatever it is. The whole concept that I'm trying to really ingrain here is any message can be conveyed in all of the above ways. And I think it's really powerful to take stuff that you find elsewhere and repurpose it for your own good in really interesting ways. Now, this kind of leads me to a crazy concept, which is when you even go further down the rabbit hole of different ways to create content, everything has structure. So if you look at certain types of posts that come out of thought leaders specifically to LinkedIn, many of them have this structure. It starts with a hook. They create mystery around the benefits. Then there's 3 to 5 bullet points of why it matters. There's some emotion element that tries to trigger you or give you some sense of what the big message here is. Then there's maybe a thank you or a call to action. That is something that you can literally start seeing. And once you see it, you can't really unsee it. If you look for structure, you will find it. And this is not just the rantings of a crazy person, it exists everywhere. Again, everything breaks down into smaller parts. And once you understand what those parts are, why they exist, when they are used, and how they're actually made, everything gets easier. If we look at video elements deconstructed, writing elements deconstructed, visual elements deconstructed, it gets a heck of a lot easier. So I've kind of done that here where everything usually starts with a hook, specifically on LinkedIn and Twitter for sure, or X as it is nowadays. There's lots of things that exist within the post body. Then inside of the post body, there's often bullet points or a enumeration of different things that are all categorized in the same way. Then there's a call to action, something that is pushing the user to either engage or do something based off the content that they've seen. Then, of course, there's individual elements that are kind of supporting mechanisms for the post itself. This is just for writing. I've also included stuff for video and visual. I just wanted people to think and see this in pure form of what this looks like. So once you understand that, you can almost mathematically put these things together. Pretty crazy. Food for thought. Everything that you've seen here is kind of a course in and of itself, and becoming a content creator isn't something you can do overnight, but I do have lots of thoughts on it. So if this is interesting to you, please join the Discord. I will make sure to slip in all of the different templates and prompts so that anybody can potentially be a content creator. I think it's interesting. And yeah, I just wanted to maybe feel it out and see if people are really into this, at which point I will put a lot of time, effort, and energy into generating the next version of this course, which is zeroing in on a particular area.